Hey there internet, welcome back to the channel. It's Colin here from Cascade Juggling, and today we're going to have a look at some beginner poi spinning. Alright, so before we get into the tricks, this video is intended for basically complete beginners. If you've either never picked up poi in your life and you want to give it a shot, or if you've tried it out once or twice and you're ready to learn some tricks and progress yourself, this is for you. And a quick note on poi before we start as well, I think for beginners, sock poi are probably the best poi that you can use, especially ones that are nice and soft, because you're probably going to hit yourself in the face a few times during this, and at least with these, it doesn't hurt. So yeah, don't use rocks. Alright, getting started. How are we holding our poi first? With these sock poi, they don't have finger loops or handles, so what I like to do is I like to take my two fingers here and just wrap them around once, and that gives me a nice grip on the poi. I also like them to be somewhere between my elbow and my shoulder in terms of length. This is a really great length for spinning with. It's going to give you lots of control without them being too long. It gives you space to do kind of buzz saws and inside plane things. So that's how I recommend you hold them when you're starting out. Let's get started spinning them then. So what we're going to talk about first is planes. What are they and how are you going to use them? So for us as beginners, there are three main planes that we want to know about. There is wheel plane, there is wall plane, and there is floor plane. So let's say I am facing forward here. This is the orientation of my body. Wall plane here is going to be in front of me like this. We're going to have the poi sitting basically 90 degrees to my body if we're going this way. And it's going to come right in front, making circles. It can go either direction. And this is wall plane. Wheel plane then, what we're thinking about is the poi is going in the same kind of direction as our body. Imagine you're like a vehicle, these are your wheels. So they're going to go either side of you, and they're going to be going kind of in line with the direction that your body is pointing. It can be either side of your body, doesn't matter. As long as it's going in this, it's wheel plane. The last one is floor plane. The way this works is you've got the poi spinning kind of horizontally here. It can be above your arm, below your arm, above your head. Imagine you're spinning a lasso or something. This is floor plane. This is probably the least useful one for beginners to think about. However, worth talking about. Timing and direction then. What is it? How does it work? Well, timing and direction with poi is how the poi relate to each other when they're spinning. So some simple examples are they can be going at the same time in the same direction as here. We can have them going split time, same direction, so the beats are happening 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We can have them going same time, opposite directions. So then you see 1, bum, 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 but they're going opposite compared to each other. We can even go split time opposite, so bum, 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 bum. And this works in all the different wheel plane, wall plane sort of thing. So the main one we're wanting to focus on today is split time, same direction. First exercise I think that is super useful for all beginner poi spinners to do is just to have a little bit of an explore before you start learning any tricks. Just seeing where you can spin the poi and how you can spin it in relation to yourself is really useful here. So the way I like to do this is start off just spinning the poi. I'm in wall plane here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and turn my body and try and keep the poi spinning on that same plane. And just have an explore here and see where your comfortable range of motion is. Again, do this with both hands. All of these drills you kind of want to do with both hands because you want both your hands feeling nice and comfortable. And see where you can move the poi to and keep it on that same amount of spinning. getting tangled with my microphone. So once you're comfortable with spinning the poi around your body, we're going to have a look at a trick. We're going to have a look at the 2-beat weave. This is probably the simplest poi trick that you can kind of learn to begin with, and it is a great building block for the next thing we're going to do, which is the 3-beat weave. So let's get into it. 2-beat weave then. So first of all, what is a beat? A beat is a way that we use to count the amount of spins your poi does. So I like to count it at the bottom of the spin here. So as your poi makes one full rotation and comes back to that bottom point, that is 1 beat. So that's how I would count it. And if we're counting here, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how I would count beats. So our 2-beat weave, what's going to happen, the poi is going to make, what each individual poi is going to make 2, 1, 2 full rotations, and then that is it back to the start of its sequence. So to do a 2-beat weave, we're going to start and we're going to learn one arm at a time here. So what's going to happen is you're going to have the poi spinning in wheel plane, so it's nice and like parallel on with your body here. And we're going to practice moving it from one side of your body over to the other side and back again. And so we just want to get nice and comfortable with this, like crossing over from one side of our body to the other. And eventually we just want to do that once every beat. So for getting our 2-beat weave to happen then, we have got both sides happily independently going one side to the other, one side to the other, and we're comfortable with this. What we're going to do is we're going to put them together. So we're going to start our pattern here in split time, same direction. So you're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 on your spins here. And what's going to happen is we're going to pick one hand to go first. For me, I'm going to pick my right. And so what's going to happen here is as my right reaches the top of its spin, it's going to start crossing to the other side. Immediately after that, as soon as the pink, my left, the pink poi here, reaches the top of its spin, it's going to move across to the right, and they're both going to do 1 beat and then uncross. So bum bum, uncross. Bum bum, uncross. Bum bum, uncross. Right left, uncross. Bum bum, uncross. When we put that together and we just run it continuously, you can just keep going back and forth with each poi, you'll notice that one hand is always staying on top and one hand is always staying on the bottom here. And this is if my right hand is going first, it is always staying on the bottom. We can also do this with the left hand going first. So if we do that, we'll notice we go the other way. It goes left, right, left, right. Do 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 do. And then we can continually do this with my right hand always being on top, and then the left hand always on the bottom. And these are both the 2-beat weave. So once you're comfortable with the 2-beat weave going right hand first and left hand first, we're going to move on and we're going to combine them together to make a 3-beat weave. If we're going to turn this into a 3-beat weave, what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 extra beat to each poi. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Where that's going to happen though is the interesting bit. Because instead of it happening on your native side, if my right poi is on the right side, it's going to happen on the opposite side. So what we're going to practice here first is just the hand paths. Our hand paths here then. What we're going to do to learn first is we're going to cross our hands and your right hand on top, left hand on the bottom. Our left hand is going to come up and on top, and then the right hand is going to come up and on top, and the left hand up and on top. And this is the first thing you want to think about, is just doing this sequential next, next, next. And it's almost like one hand is bumping the next hand on here. And so once we're comfortable with this, what you're going to do is we're going to put like a little bit of like a circular motion into it. So instead of just the right hand staying stationary here as the left hand goes, we're going to think of them as drawing, like, if we're wheel playing here, little circles with your hands. You want to draw a circle here, and then you see where they get crossed. You want to, that's where it comes the other side, and then it opens up, and then you got a circle, and then it draws a circle here, and a circle here, and then a circle here, And you just got to think about your wrists continuing this circle. And so with one of the poise spinning here then, we're going to start again one hand at a time. My left hand here is going to be the stationary hand. And you'll see what happens when we try and do this motion here. We have one beat on the native side and 2 beats on the non-native side. And this is the part where your other hand is coming from under to over. Under to over. And that one beat is just it coming back and forth. And once we're comfortable doing this with our right hand, move on to the left. And we're going to do the exact same thing here. The hand that's not spinning is just going to be out in front, and you're going to start going over and under. Over, and that goes over. And as you'll see, we're doing 1 beat on the native side and 2 beats on the non-native side. Now that we're comfortable with the hand paths, we're going to try this with both of the poise spinning. So the way you get into this is we're going to have both poise spinning at our sides quite comfortably here. And then we're going to start our 2 beat weave in the same way. And you're just going to think that my pink poi, I'm looking at the pink one here, which is my left hand, when it goes over to the non-native side, we're just going to hold it there for a second to do its second beat, and we're going to take the purple poi over the top, okay? And ready? Let's go now. And that kind of ends up in a 2 beat with the other hand leading. And we're going to do the exact same here. So when my purple poi reaches the other side, it's going to stop and it's going to hold there for an extra beat, and the pink is going to come back on top. There we go. And now, if we just try and do this every time, so the purple comes up, pink goes over, pink goes over. A couple of tips for practicing this then. Obviously, if you have your poi nice and short, it makes them really easy to control. And we can do it here, but what it also does is it makes the spins really fast. So you can try and have like lengthen your poi, and you'll see you get a much slower spin, and you got loads of time to like work out what's going on. I would recommend trying this both with like really short poi, really long poi, somewhere in the middle, and just like experimenting with it, because the more different like ways you try it, the more comfortable you're just going to get with the whole pattern. That's it for the tutorial today. If you've enjoyed the video and found this useful, hit the like button and maybe even subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when our next video comes out. And if you've enjoyed the beginner poi spinning series particularly, let us know in the comments and we'll make more of them. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.